Hey, buddies.
How's it
We're
going,
doing
everyone?
another podcast
Welcome
today.
back to another podcast. This will be our,
Breaking Bad.
yeah, um, something that we've wanted to talk about for a while, Breaking Bad. And,
One of the most well-made shows out there.
it's a little dated, or as though, people might think. When did the show end? When did it stop airing? Let's take a look. Because I actually don't know. 2013. September of 2013 is when it ended, and it started in 2008 with 5 seasons. It is created
Yeah.
by the wonderful Vince Gilligan. It stars
Um,
Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul as the two main
oh,
characters.
stars them?
Technically, yeah.
I thought
I
there was
mean,
multiple protagonists.
they are, but technically they are the two main characters, the
Let
two main
everything
actors.
revolves around, I guess.
Yep. Um, Basically, the only reason you'd be watching this video is if it's still worth watching, right? So you probably haven't seen the show. And if you haven't,
Mm-hmm.
let's explain exactly what it is. So, it's about this teacher named Walter White, and he's a chemistry teacher, and he should I
He needs
spoil? I
money.
mean, yeah, he needs money for something. I don't want to say yet. I feel like a lot of people know, but I still don't want to say. He needs money. He needs to get it fast. Um, and teaching
Mm-hmm.
isn't gonna do it for him. And so he
And
finds a
then,
new job.
he,
He teams up
yeah.
he teams up with one of his old students, Jesse Pinkman, who is now in the drug business of making methamphetamine. And Walter White decides to uh, go into this business also. And so the whole show is them making meth and making money and their adventures of a whole bunch of crazy shit that happens. It's a pretty
Never
crazy
gets
show.
stale, which is insane.
Oh no. And there's always something going on in the show. And but
Yeah, it's their adventures, and then it leads to other characters.
leads to other characters, other bad guys. Basically, it's one of those shows where everyone's bad. It doesn't like there is no good
Mm.
in this show. There is good, but there's mostly bad.
Yeah, and it's like I don't think it's like an uplifting show. I wouldn't say that.
No, it has its moments, I'd say, but very lightly.
Very yeah. It's not the main focus of the show,
Mm-mm.
definitely.
Um, this
Just to show
video
the bad
is
parts.
not going to contain spoilers because if you're watching this video, like I said, it's probably because you haven't seen it yet. Um,
Yes, we'll try our best because
it's gonna be
yeah.
hard, but we'll try to keep it light today. Um,
Mm,
Honestly,
um,
I don't. There really isn't a ton to explain about the show itself. We kind of already explained most of it. Um,
well, if we had more film knowledge, that would help. But otherwise, yeah.
yeah, Bryan
Just
Cranston is a very good actor. He's the one that plays Walter White. He's famous, mostly famous for being the dad. What's his name? Um, Hal and Malcolm in the Middle. Very famous show.
it's very
You've
very
the
funny.
very good. Yes,
The
very
difference
funny.
between
There's yeah, there's a huge difference between if you've seen Malcolm in the Middle, you're never gonna see that character the same again. And then you'll watch Breaking Bad and it won't be the same, but it's worth it, I'd say.
it's basically their magnum opus, right? I'd say.
Mhm.
This is their biggest thing that they did.
But I guess the real question is it still worth watching? I mean, after how many years? Gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's still like
It's on Netflix. I mean, you have a ton of time. You mean, I don't think they're taking it off anytime soon. It's still,
Yeah,
people are
hope
still
not.
watching it. And
It's not.
even,
Hopefully, it's not country blocked.
mm-mm. Oh yeah. Oh, who knows?
Definitely try to watch it as soon as you can.
I'd say it's worth watching. I'd say it's very worth watching. Now, what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I would say the same. Definitely. I would
Um,
say if you've seen it, you probably want to wait a few years before you watch it again.
it's
But definitely,
definitely, I don't think
it's.
it's dated yet. It doesn't feel dated. Like it
I
doesn't
don't think it
feel
ever
too
will
old.
be.
I think it's just one of those shows that just will always be relevant, I think. I mean,
Well, I guess yeah. I guess if you don't like depressing shows, then no, you probably wouldn't like this one. But
yeah,
otherwise, you
I
should.
I mean, I really don't know what more to explain about this show without saying if I like it or not. So, should we just
Well, I
talk
think
about
it's
that
already
then?
very apparent.
Alright, you know what? We like the show. I mean, I love this show. I think it's definitely one of the best out there.
I just really like how the writers
It's written
write
very,
the show
very well.
because I guess I can't say that. They were gonna take one of the characters out in the beginning,
But
but
because
then
of how
they thought about
fans.
it and they actually didn't,
Well, and the cool part
which
is that
I
they
feel
listened to
like
fans,
is
like,
very brave.
during the season and made different changes. Obviously, they're not going to appeal to every fan. Or they're not
Yeah,
going to appeal
they were
to.
very focused on that. They were like,
They
we want
were.
characters.
But they did appeal to fans, and I think that is why the story itself is so successful. Because it's something
The,
that we like, you know?
the fans really make the show.
Right, but then also Gilligan makes the show
Hmm.
just in a way that he
I
still
feel
makes it
like
in a way that you won't expect. Like you're not gonna
it's kind of
expect
like,
things.
I know this is out of nowhere, but it's like kind of like The Office. It's just like everyone who was on it very much benefited from it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it's this is like one of the biggest shows, and they've been invited to so much more
Well, and
to
even the
this point.
smallest
Like,
actors in that show are iconic now because of it.
yeah,
Like Badger and
I don't
Skinny,
know.
if you remember
You'll
them.
figure it out.
Yeah, you guys will figure it out. You go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's awesome. It's so worth it.
Freaking love those guys. They're such idiots.
They're so awesome though. But like they didn't even play that big of a part and now everyone knows them for those roles.
Um, should we do like a spoiler section?
Um, I don't know. I don't know how we
We
would
could do like the
organize that.
beginning, our opinions, and then we could. It's either another video or we just do half and half,
Um,
or a little bit more on the spoiler end. Probably we have more to talk about.
I don't know. How do you want to do it? I'm all ears.
Yeah, I'm fine if we just do one whole video.
Okay. And then just do
So
spoilers.
we're just gonna say spoilers, spoilers. Don't listen anymore. And if you skip through the video, that's your fault.
So we're
You can't
about
listen to
nine and a half
it
minutes
time.
through right now. If you haven't seen the show, you should stop here. You should go watch it.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna talk about the show
We're gonna talk
because
about bits in the show.
yes, and I'm serious, man. Go watch it. It's so worth it. I mean,
And if
here's the thing. When
you
I
really don't want it spoiled, don't.
Josh first recommended it, like he hadn't seen it yet, but we were like, "Hey, we should watch this show." and I was like,
Well, I mean, like I heard stuff about this from like my
mm-hmm.
parents and all that. Yeah.
And I
Like
and
season.
I was a bit skeptical at first. I was like, it's probably gonna be boring. It's probably just one of those adult shows. And we watched the first episode. We got a little hooked. We wanted to know what happened next. The second episode came, and we just kept watching. You just get addicted so
AJ watched
fast.
without me. Freaking watched like 5 episodes ahead of me, so I like binge watched the whole show.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
I did it
Um,
for him.
but man,
I really
I
like the
just
way
get
they like
through
build out
the
Walter's
first couple
character.
episodes. Yeah, and I
I like
think
how you never know if he's innocent or bad. Well, I know you're not. Okay, he's not innocent, but you don't know if he's good or bad,
right.
and that's like your opinion, really. It's based on your opinion if he's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
not like
yeah.
he's a bad guy. He's the worst person ever because he's doing it for his kids and all that. He's trying to help them after he passes.
Right.
And sometimes you can call it ignorance when he doesn't want to take the money from the gray matter, but he's just trying to prove his point. He doesn't want to take anything from anyone. He wants
Right.
to do it on his own. That's like the biggest thing. Like he could have just ended it in the beginning by taking the money, but he just didn't.
Mm-hmm. But then I think,
Which could be a bad thing.
yeah, I mean, Walter's a bad dude, no doubt about it. I mean, he's a really, really, really bad dude. Like,
He did make up for it in the ending, though.
sort of,
My
kind
opinion,
of.
he did. I think he did.
I think he definitely made a little better of an impression of himself, I think, by showing
Come
up
on, he
there.
killed Nazis, man. He killed Nazis. What else do you
Yes,
want from?
but he also killed a bunch of other drug dudes too.
No,
I
he
mean,
killed Mike's men. That pissed me off.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But he did save Jesse. So,
Yes, at least he did that.
oh man, the show's so
Jesse, in
good.
my opinion, was innocent. I think he was innocent
Um, innocent,
because even though he killed someone, he hated everything around that,
right?
and he was protecting kids. And then the drug stuff got into his business, and
Mm-hmm.
it just got worse and worse. That's really depressing part is when you see Jesse going into
Right,
it.
and throughout the whole show, you always want Jesse to pull up. Like you always want him to
Yeah.
just get away from that stuff and end up like
And then
I
it
don't
just
even
gets worse and
and it
worse,
gets
and then
worse, and
just
you're like, shoot, Jesse, you got to get in a better place, like now.
oh my god! And then in that end of the movie, that was like the most bittersweet thing. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
like he's fine; he still had to experience all that.
Right.
But I guess he's away from the situation.
But there's a sequel, El Camino. Probably won't talk too much. Well, we might actually. I mean, it's not like we're gonna make an El Camino
Well,
video.
it ties in.
Yeah, it does. So we'll probably talk about that a little later, but um, I think the transition from, because it's so like random, it seems like, right? A chemistry teacher turning into a drug kingpin. I mean,
Yeah,
but he's so smart, right? And he knows
but
chemistry,
it makes sense because
right?
he was supposed to be one of the people in the gray matter company, but then he just went to
Mm-hmm.
the
Well,
teaching.
that is technically his fault. He did leave. He did sell his shares.
Well, do we know why he left? Oh, wait, why?
Um, I'm not 100% sure. I think it was because he didn't think the business, like, maybe he thought that that was going to be its peak and he sold his shares. Maybe something
Uh,
like that.
I feel like it was more of a gripe between them,
But it
probably.
definitely, I mean, I'd say he is to blame for that. He can't blame anyone else for selling his shares. That was his choice.
And he still was like, I don't want your money.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. Get away from me. They're kind of stupid, basically. But
Yeah.
you can see, you can understand. It's stupid, but you can understand.
Right.
feeling.
But I love that transition from a low-life chemistry teacher to, the drug kingpin. And I think it's just so, like, cool. Like,
It gets corrupt.
it's just something you hadn't seen before this, right?
Yeah, like how you were talking about. I mean, it's like he only had the drugs after a while. He only could do that
Mm-hmm.
because he got so into it.
Right. Right, no, and once you get so far into it that you can't get out, and you can't even stay in the middle. You just go further, especially Walter. And he had such a I mean, he just wanted to be on top constantly. Like
Yeah,
he could
so he
have
could make the money.
he could have easily avoided the Hank situation after Gale died. But then he gave Hank the idea that there was probably someone still out there, that Heisenberg was still out there. Like he could have easily avoided that.
Yeah, it's kind of like he hates himself for doing it at the same time. Though he has like subconscious
Right.
thought.
But he's too smart, and then he gets ahead of himself, and then he screws up, and then he has to fix it in some dark way. Like that's the whole
It's
show.
also a greed and arrogance.
Oh yeah.
He's like it's greed.
Oh,
for
he's
his-
so greedy. What the heck? What was that? Hello, Josh? You there? Uh-oh. I think we lost Josh. Give me one. Sorry, guys. I think we lost Josh. Sorry, everyone. We're dealing with some technical difficulties. Hello? Josh, you there?
Technical difficulties.
There we go. Sorry, everyone. We had to.
I was talking about how Walter's like greed and arrogance. Like he could literally just get a tiny bit of drug money to pay off his bills.
Yeah.
And everything.
He's
But
so
then
greedy.
He just wants more and more, more and more, and that's when you see the
But then,
bad side of him.
What I love is that the whole show he always says he's doing it for his family. He's doing it for his family. And
That's
I think at first maybe part of him was, especially for his baby.
100%, 100% at first. But
Right.
Wow, over and over.
Well, and I think, but also throughout the entire show, I think he loved his baby. What was her name?
Haley.
Holly. He loved Holly.
Yeah.
But like, and
he was never gonna hurt Holly. No way.
No, of course not. And one of my favorite parts in that show is like in the last episode when he goes to where Skylar is living, and she's like, "What? Are you gonna tell me you did this for the family?" And he's like, "No, I did it for myself. I did everything for myself." And
That's a big character moment.
that was just so like, wow. I mean,
it's kind of like what's that show? What's the show? Scott Pilgrim at the end. He says the same thing.
Really? Wait, who says that?
Like, Scott Pilgrim. He's like at the end, he's like trying to get the girl. He's like, I'm doing it for her. But then at the end, he's like, I'm doing it for myself, and he gets like the blade of self-respect or something.
Oh. I'd have to rewatch that movie. It's been a while.
I find that pretty funny.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
No, I think Walter's such a good character to follow, though, as like a kind of a main story arc.
Oh yeah, and then I just realized, I was thinking like he's the smartest dumb person, and actually that's what Hank says, when he dies, when Hank gets shot.
Yeah, he's like, "You're the smartest guy I've ever known," and then what did he say right after that?
But you're so dumb to realize that they already made up their minds.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. I think it was not exactly.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll have to take a look at that too. But man, I mean,
first time Hank
you want to like him
something
though.
nice to him too.
You want to like Walter so bad.
god.
I mean, I wanted to like him, but you can't.
Well, his freaking beginning, it's like he wants to help his family. That's why he's doing it. But then he just gets corrupt, and you freaking start to hate him.
Right. And another thing that I really wanted and that I liked to see sometimes was when Walter and Jesse got along. Those were like the best parts of the show. Was when they were getting
That's like
along.
so few because over time they freaking fall apart.
Right, and it's so
I
sucky
like the drug bits in the beginning.
when what are they called? Yeah, when they're like when they're cooking.
Yeah, they're like the most calm when they're cooking, but when they have to sell it, it's like the most terrifying thing.
Right, but when they like
Also watching it.
solve a solution together and or come up with a solution together, and it just feels so nice that they're
Mhm.
like getting along and they actually get places better. Like they're so good as a team. Cuz Jesse's actually really smart. Like even though he failed school, like he's so smart and you learn that, you realize that later on.
Yeah,
And
he makes the drugs for the drug people.
it's so
Like he makes it.
sucky when Walter like takes that for granted and it just
Oh
that's
yeah,
like
he never gives him credit.
mm-mm. He never
He
gives him
always says
credit.
his is better.
Yeah.
He's like, my drug is always better.
But I mean, he's had his moments where he's like complimented Jesse, and it
I'd
feels
say he's
nice.
way smarter. Like Jesse has morals. Walter like got
Walter
corrupted
is
very much.
more book smart, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, as the show goes on, he is more street smart. But you're right,
Yeah, I feel
Jesse has
like
morals.
Jesse is less corruptible than Walt.
I
Because
think,
Walter's like, I think Walter his whole life was just told that he's this very smart person. So then
right.
he just kept that with him. So he's so arrogant and greedy.
Well, and Jesse was always
Even with
told that he wasn't
yeah.
smart. And it was especially by his
So
parents. His parents didn't
he
help.
understands people more.
Right, and his parents didn't help at all.
It's like the best scene when he buys the house from him.
Oh, yeah. When Jesse just buys the house. Like
It's like
like, hey,
his nephew to the
they're
family.
like, who's the buyer? And then like Jesse takes the keys and he like walks into the house. It's like the best. It's such a
No,
good
they're
scene.
like, no, get away, the buyer is coming.
Oh,
He's like,
yep,
oh,
I am the
yeah,
buyer.
I bought the place. And then they're like, oh.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that. That's such a good one. Um,
Man,
Walter.
man.
See,
You remember
Walter
that
is
scene
like,
with his girlfriend
are you with his
where she choked on her own
the
vomit and
heroin?
Walter just stood there?
Yeah, the heroin overdose when she OD'd.
Apparently, that was like the most emotional scene for Walter, or the actor Walter,
Really,
because he actually imagined his daughter.
Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
Yeah, he imagined
Really?
his daughter. Yeah,
That's terrible.
yeah, it was the most traumatizing moment for him. But yeah,
That
I
is
guess he got through
crazy. Huh.
That's how deep you have to get into the show. Jeez.
Well, I mean, they did it, and it like everyone's performance in that show was just phenomenal. Like I don't think there were any flaws in anyone's acting.
Um,
Like
Perfect.
even all the side characters, like just on point, and it was
No
so
one could recreate the
believable.
show.
No
No.
one could like no, you couldn't recast those people either.
Yeah, they have
I
like the
think
perfect
like
characters.
imagine recasting Hank. Like you can't think of
Yeah,
anyone. How do you like
Hank.
he's such a like that actor is like the perfect role for that character.
I love how they like Hank is more like kind of serious cop, but then later on he gets very serious and he's not joking around at all.
Right.
And it's like the scene with him closing the freaking garage door.
Cuz he
That was
doesn't
like,
want to
oh
fail
my
and he's
god.
not used to failing as a cop. He's used to like
Yeah, he will not give up.
no,
I
he
can't believe
will.
he killed those two guys. He killed the two
That
hardest
was
guys to kill.
awesome. That was
I
so
can't believe that.
awesome when he killed
Also, who called him?
Salamanca
Who called
twins.
him?
Hmm?
Who called him? Who called him?
So
Who? Gustavo?
yes, it was Gus Fring that called him.
Guaranteed.
My parents asked me the other day who actually called Hank that one time in Breaking Bad. I was like, oh, I'm not sure, and I googled it, and I guess it was Gus Fring, and I had no idea.
Well, there's a lot of facts that point towards that, but you can't guarantee it. You know?
I guess
Maybe it
so.
was someone. Maybe it was Gus Ring telling someone to call
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but
him.
I have a feeling that it probably was Gus Fring, only because he isn't. I mean, he's
Well,
against
I think
Salamanca,
Hank is
right?
such a badass for doing that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I was
And it
not
wasn't a
expecting
lame
that.
scene. It
That
wasn't
was
a
an
lame
awesome
scene. It was
scene.
very believable because those guys knew they didn't know that he was gonna get a call, so they
Uh-uh.
were just acting all casual.
Yeah.
And then he got hit, he died, and then the guy came over because he didn't. The guy was so arrogant because his brother died that he walked away to grab an axe to kill him, and then he got shot in the head by Hank.
Yep. Yeah.
He could have killed him. He could have killed Hank.
But
He
no, I
didn't.
love Hank's character in that show. He's definitely one of my favorites, I'll be honest. I mean, just the
Yes,
character, like,
Hank.
I mean, it's just so good. And
Man, what about Skyler? Skyler was like cheating on Walt, but Walt kind of deserved it. I don't know.
he was technically cheating on her in a way, too. Sort of.
With drugs.
Yeah. Honestly, that um
Could you imagine the pain you had to go through with a husband like that? Jeez.
that relationship was just messed up. It was just not going.
Like I didn't know who to root for in that. Like when Walt was taking the baby, I was like, she was like crying. I felt so bad for them.
Yeah,
And then
Walt's
Walt
kind
Jr.
of
has to be in that family.
poor Walt Jr., like the most innocent.
Innocent, the baby, Walt Jr., and Jesse, kind of.
Yeah.
Those are the three most innocent characters.
Well, the baby I don't even think counts because how can you be not innocent as a baby, right?
Well, no, it's an innocent then, right?
I guess. I guess. I guess.
It
I
still
guess you're
can
technically
experience
right.
stuff.
You're technically right.
Man,
Ah.
so good. And him defending the dad and the mom not wanting to say anything.
Yeah. I think what kind of bothered me though was
Okay, that
like,
also pissed me off because Walter didn't say anything either. He was just letting her take the fall. And I think she actually talks about that.
right, well she
Well,
was
I'm the
kind
bad
of
mom, okay?
right,
She said
exactly.
something like that in the scene.
She's like, I'm the one who has to
And
take
you're the
away the car, right?
yeah, all
And I
that.
think, and Walter definitely knew what he was doing when he was like, when he was saying it's not your mom's fault. But he
Yeah,
was definitely
he's
doing
just
like the
trying to cover
reverse
his
trick.
ass.
Yeah, he was doing the reverse trick also. Like he knew his son would,
He was emotionally manipulating his son until
yes.
Hank
And
died,
that
and
was
then
so messed up.
actually, I'm glad he said that he killed Hank because that shows the son that his father's an asshole,
More than an asshole.
like the worst person.
um, I think my favorite episode was the very last episode. Honestly, I, I mean that usually isn't the case with a lot of shows, but
I can remember where he was like, he was just in the bar staring at the screens, and then he just like ready to go.
yeah. But I just the laser pointer scene was brilliant. I love that so
I
much.
don't know.
I
I
wasn't
believe
expecting
there was
it.
gun guys, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought they were snipers. Like I thought he actually hired hitmen. But then I was like, wait, this doesn't seem right. What's going on? And then he got in the car and Badger and Skinny jumped in and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is awesome." And they handed over the laser pointers. They didn't even have guns. So
But
good.
that's gonna scare the shit out of those guys.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
don't know what to
man.
believe. They can't trust Walter. He was a drug lord person. They're gonna totally believe that.
Right, exactly. When he's like the most wanted in America or something like that.
Oh my god.
So we're coming up on 30 minutes and about 10 seconds.
Okay. That's fun to talk about. There's so much more though.
There's so
We
much
still haven't gotten
more.
to.
We might do
Like, I want to talk about Mike. I want to talk about
we
more
might
about
do
Hank.
a Better Call Saul video, I think. Would be kind of cool. Better
Maybe
Call
an hour long,
Saul.
actually. We
Maybe
can
just
do
an
that.
hour long, like just all Breaking Bad universe. Like
This
El Camino,
one's
Breaking
half
Bad, Better Call Saul.
spoilers. The next video is going to be all spoilers, so we're going to just talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Um, well, I'm gonna put
Definitely
a
watch it.
yeah. Just well, I mean, if we already explained the spoilers, then there's no really. Even if you
Yeah,
did,
don't
even if
watch
you
the.
haven't watched it and you watch this whole video, still watch it because even if
Yes,
you're
we haven't
spoiled,
even talked about everything.
we
There's
didn't
some
even. No,
characters that are
actually, we
still
didn't.
amazing.
Yeah,
We didn't
I
even talk
mean,
about Better Call Saul. That's like one of the best freaking characters ever.
oh yeah, Saul Goodman and Mike. Those are like the two best characters in Breaking Bad, and they follow both of those in Better Call Saul. So, thank you
They
guys
haven't
for
spoiled that, at
tuning
least.
in to this podcast. Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to talk about. It was a little slow at first. We had a technical difficulty, but
It's
that's
a
okay.
little
It
hard.
happens.
It's a little hard to like talk about a
Yeah,
show that you like without spoiling.
yeah. So I think it was at around like 10 minutes when we started talking about spoilers.
Yeah, something like that.
Probably put that in the title just in case. Um, yeah, man,
Definitely a good show.
really good. Definitely worth watching. That's my final answer.
Yes, check out our links in the description. Yeah, we're
Yep.
signing off.
Twitch links. Josh has a new YouTube channel or gaming channel. There's no videos. He just made it like
No videos.
yesterday.
Probably not gonna be
So
videos for a while. We're
but if
still
you
doing
subscribe
podcasts.
now, if he releases anything, you'll know when it happens if you turn on your notifications. So,
Yes. Also, we're gonna have Twitches in there too. So you
yep,
can upload your.
Twitch, our Twitch accounts will be down there. So, yeah.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.